Good day, goeiedag, fellow South Africans. And the good news is I had my hair cut. Look at that. Isn't that cool? No more curls all over the place. Yep, I said I'd have it done this weekend, and I did. Now, this video is slightly off topic, but in a way it isn't. Okay, it's basically about my lifetime of research into the history of Southern Africa and why I believe I have a very good handle on what's going on and historically what's going on. Now, on the wall behind me, a few of you have asked me, hey, what are those things on the wall behind you? And I actually had one African guy saying, why don't you stop taking videos in your toilet? Well, let's start off by answering that African guy. Listen, buddy, I am in my man cave. And my man cave includes several huge cabinets with a lifetime of artifacts, African artifacts that reflect my interest in the real history of Southern Africa in particular. Thus my interest in the Griqua people, the San, and the Khoi. Now, before we get on to that, let me answer the question about what's that on the wall behind you. So, I'll just take a couple of them down. Okay. I love glass. And I love history. This container here is W. Kelly Ginger Beer, Berkeley East. The firm existed from 1888 to 1905. I'll put that back where it belongs, above my head. The next historical artifact is the old Schweppes bottle. Now, I've got a lot of this sort of stuff, okay? This is just the few that I put up above my head here. And, what's this one here? Oh my God. I have so much stuff, okay? A pharmacy pot for ointments, etc. 1890s. And I've bought this stuff from antique shops in South Africa. And here we have, let me see if I can read this. Tea and Perrins. Tea and Perrins bottle. There it is. Very, very, very old. And at the top it says something. I can't read it. I'm sorry, my eyes are not great. But I'll just put, no, there's one more little bit of glassware here. Okay, this is an interesting one. Daily and Day Limited, trademark, Cape Town. Another very, very old historic bottle. And it's actually got one of those little marbles in the top where you got to press a marble down to release the pressure. That's how they used to operate. You can probably hear it making the noise. So that's what's behind my head. Just a few examples of these very historic beauties. And let me make it quite clear while we're on that subject that none of these bottles or containers were ever designed or created or sold by the black population. Now, let's go into something very different. And I'll show you some of the African artifacts that come out of my museum. Anyone know what this is? I've got quite a few of these, and there's a history attached to these. And history is quite simple. My father, I was born, as you know, in East Africa, in Dar es Salaam. My father left Ireland in the 1940s, in fact the 1930s, when he was a young man, when he was in his early 20s. And he moved to East Africa to seek a better life, and became a white hunter. And one day, while he was going through the bush in southern Tanzania, what used to be southern Tanganyika, very close to the Mozambique border, he came across a witch doctor. And the witch doctor welcomed my dad. My dad spoke fluent Swahili, so they talked away in Swahili. And the witch doctor asked if he could have a cigarette. My dad was a smoker. He gave this witch doctor a cigarette. And they were talking away and talking away and talking away. And the witch doctor said, "Do you have more cigarettes?" And my dad said, "Yeah, I've got several cartons because I'm in the bush and I'm traveling and I'm a white hunter and I shoot elephant and I shoot lion and I shoot whatever." And the witch doctor said, "I would like to get a couple of cartons of cigarettes from you." My dad said, "Sure." But he said, "What can you offer me in exchange, in barter?" And the witch doctor had this bag, my dad described as a bag over his back. And the witch doctor said, "I have genuine death masks that I have personally used in our ways." And I'll tell you how that works in a second. But this is one of those death masks. And you can see it's a Negro. It's beautifully cut. You can see the lines. Even the teeth. I mean, it's actually carved out of a baobab tree. And the hair is buck hair. It's a buckskin and hair. But it looks Negro. So basically a death mask is where someone approaches a witch doctor because someone has wronged them and asks them to put a curse on another person, normally in another village. And what happens is that the witch doctor then puts this mask over his face like this, and they have a ceremony, and this is obviously late at night, and it's all part of the African way. And the witch doctor puts a curse on the person who is targeted. And the word gets out to that person that this curse has been put on them. And from what my father told me, is that the person who's been targeted, because they are so embedded in witchcraft, literally starves to death because he knows that he's going to die. And that's the story behind these death masks. Okay, that's just one little trivia. This is not from Africa. This is actually from Asia, Southern Asia, Asia Pacific region. It's sort of like the PNG, Papua New Guinea type area, and it's called a money belt. And you can see all the shells on it. And this is a genuine money belt. I bought this at an auction in Sotheby's a while ago, and you can see how incredibly historic something like this is. I mean, those are little cowrie shells that you're looking at there. Hundreds of them on this money belt. And the last item I'm going to show you from my museum, from my toilet, according to one of the African commentators. If you had a toilet like this, buddy, you would be smiling from ear to ear, believe me. Now, this is a very, very historic item. If you go to the Voortrekker Museum, which I just did a video on, and you go down to the basement level, and you look in the cabinets, you'll see items very similar to this. This is called a powder horn. And you can see little ivory inlays around the base and around the top. Beautifully done. And they didn't have nails in those days, so the actual way the ivory is embedded is actually with these tiny little timber plugs. You can see them going all the way around. Isn't that a work of amazing quality? I had actually had this renovated about 6-7 years ago, because there were a couple of areas where it needed to be fixed, and it's been professionally fixed now. But look at that design at the top of it. That's ivory inlay. Now, what is so historically significant about this item is that it used to be the powder horn belonging to Adam Kok III, who was the chief of the Griquas. And it came from the collection of Dr. Atherstone, who was a very prominent historian, naturalist, doctor in the Grahamstown area. And he was one of the people who alerted the world to the fact that smallpox was exterminating the Khoi people. He has, I've got all Dr. Atherstone's books, and in those books he writes these most horrific descriptions of the Khoi who've been inflicted by smallpox, which is a white man's disease that the white men who came through passed on to the Khoi, and it literally exterminated just about every Khoi in South Africa, because they had no defense mechanism against smallpox, unlike the whites who've lived with the disease for many generations. So this beautiful little item here is Adam Kok III's original powder horn. And to me, it's probably one of my most prized items that I have in my museum. So, for the people who think that I'm talking in a toilet, let me give you a little scan around my toilet very quickly, and then we'll get back to other videos. Now you can see there one of the cabinets, and I also collect one-of-a-kind dolls, which are beautiful. They stand about 2 feet tall, and they take the creator about 6 months to create. Behind that cabinet over there is my huge library of very early African books. There's another cabinet over here. There are cabinets over there. There are cabinets behind this cabinet over here. There are cabinets everywhere. Anyway, look, I'm not here to big note myself. All I wanted to do was just to clarify what the hell it is I got behind my head. And for those doubters who think I'm talking from a toilet, you now have evidence that you're wrong. Okay? I'm just an average guy. I'm on a mission to help white South Africans from a genocide, and just cop that sweet on the chin, okay? Now remember, tonight, Sunday, 8 p.m. Johannesburg time, I'll be going live, and we will be having Paul talking to us, and I'm hoping to have Alex from the Boere Legion on as well, but that depends on whether he's got the time to talk, because as per my earlier video, Mark, because of load shedding, can't get on Facebook or Skype to talk to me. So I'll put the link to my live stream down below, and please remember to subscribe to this channel as well, so that way you'll be alerted to videos that I put up. Okay guys, well I hope we've clarified what's going on behind my head, and I hope we've clarified for those who think I'm sitting in a toilet that I ain't. Okay, take care guys. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.